Well, with this film, is this your first time playing the villain, by the way? I don't remember, but
I've played
was
villains
it
in
a
the
lot more
past.
fun
I,
playing the
I- I've
villain?
played villains in the past, but this is the
Yeah.
most, uh, I think the most memorable villain that I've played. I've been one of the most memorable characters I think I've played. I've played villains in the past, but not something to this extent.
Oh, okay, okay. I mean, with that mullet and the mustache, what was your, inspiration for this character?
The inspiration is mainly from the director, right? Because I'm a big fan of Soy. I'm a big fan of his work. I love the way he handles his characters. I love the way that he tells his stories and how brutal he is in telling his stories. Like he's a very brutal storyteller. I always wanted to be part of his projects, but never had a chance previously. So when his people contacted me, I was like, oh wow, I didn't know or care what he wanted me for. I just didn't mind going up to talk to him. And he's a very nice guy. And the first couple meetings, we really didn't talk about my what he wanted me to do in the movie. I think he just got to know me a little bit better. He wanted to get my input on my views on choreography, my views on performing martial arts on screen, and so forth. And by the third meeting, he offered me the role of King. And the most memorable thing he said was like, people, you're making movies for 20 years in Hong Kong. People know who Philip is, okay? But for this role, um, after everything's said and done, people aren't going to recognize you. And I was excited. I was like, I'm game. Okay, well, let's see how you're going to approach this because I want to see what kind of design he had in mind, and then we got what we got, which is which is King.
Looks like you had one hell of a time. It looks like you had so much fun in this film.
I did, and as I said in other interviews and talks, because I'm used to playing the protagonist, and when you're playing the protagonist, it's a POV character for the audience, so you have to protect certain things about the character. There's certain things you can't do, but when you're an antagonist, there's not much you cannot do. So I mean, you can pretty much do anything within the scope of the story, and so there was a lot of room for character design, and there's a lot of room for different acting methods that I was able to employ while playing this character, which I might not have been able to, if I was playing a protagonist.
Oh, that's great. That's great, man. Well, let's talk about Samo. I mean, you've worked with Samo before. We know that, but for this film, I mean, he's we all know he's gone up in age, but he's still so fast. I mean, he's still so good. Can you talk about your experience working with him on this film?
Yeah, I mean, like I've worked with Samuel many times. I fought against him before. I fought with him, alongside him before. I mean, different aspects and different roles, and it's always great working with him. I mean, he always makes you better. Like when I was working with him on Naked Soldier, I was very green, and I had to fight him. Short fight scene, and I was like, oh, I get to fight Samuel. Oh no, I get to fight Samuel. There's a lot of pressure, and but there shouldn't be because when you fight him, he makes you better. Like for
Mhm.
instance, I always tell the story. If you have to duck a punch and you forget, he'll pull your head down, punch over your head, bring you back up, push you towards camera, and then cut. You watch the playback, you're like, wow, I look great. Thanks a lot, Samuel. Because he always makes you better, and not just for fighting scenes, also for dramatic scenes too. And as legendary as he is, he's a very down to earth and he's very approachable. So it's always nice working with him, and I've known him for so long. Even though every time I see him, I'm still flabbergasted. I'm still like, oh my God, the fanboy in me still it'll always be there, but I'm a little more familiar now, so it's I can hold in that admiration a little bit more. So I'm not so embarrassing. But it's always nice working with him, and it it's I mean it's someone you watched growing up, and one of my childhood heroes, and being able to work with these people is it's amazing. It's a dream, David. I think I mean, working in your industry now, you're able to meet so many people that you
Yeah,
enjoy
yeah.
watching.
Yeah, man. It never gets old, seeing these legends, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Let's talk about Kenji. I mean, he worked with Donnie Yen throughout all these years, and it's just so great to finally see him paving his own path and creating his own path and doing such amazing work. He's probably one of my favorite action choreographer today. So
Yeah.
can you tell me a bit about working with Kenji?
Kenji's great, man. I love Kenji. I've known him for like 20 years, and this is the first time we really work together in this capacity. And it's great, I mean, like like when I'm not the choreographer, or the action director, I hope to be working with someone that I trust and then I can rely on. So because action design it's important to design for the character, but also design for the actor too. And Kenji is able to do that with his action design because I had a little bit of concern in the beginning. Because I watched him, because they choreographed my fight scenes near the end of production because they thought I could handle and pick up choreography picker quicker. So they spent time choreographing scenes for the other actors
Uh,
first. So which is also a good thing because we understood King more as a character before he finalized the design for my character. But I got to see him film other fight scenes first. So and I watched him film Lewis Koo and Samuel Holmes fight scene, and I'm like, wow, that's really old school, grounded in the '80s, type of fighting. But it was their design for the in movie, the older generation, they fight in that style. But the new generation, like the Colin Four and myself, we have more unique movements. But sometimes when you say unique movements, that involves a lot of wire work and it maybe it lessens the impact of the power of the movement. So which is my concern because my forte is the '80s and '90s type of fighting.
mhm.
And so, but he understood my concerns, and then we eventually came up with the design where is unique but still grounded and powerful, which is what you ended up on the screen. So, yeah, working with Kenji's great. I mean, he's not only someone that can design, excellent action design for the character, but also something suited for the actor who's performing that character.
Great, man. Great, man. It's everything on screen in this film is excellent, man. It's so good.
They cut out an hour of stuff.
Wow.
The movie was 3 hours, the rough cut. So there's
Wow.
fighting that you didn't see.
Uh, will there be any director's cut, you think?
The director said this is the director's cut, but they have been releasing deleted scenes in Asia for promotion. So for instance, the fight scene that I filmed with Samuel where we killed another triad member.
Uh,
Um, that didn't make it into the final cut, but like in Hong Kong, they put it at the end of the end roller, the end credits, and they kind of it was kind of like the ending scene. They released it, and then I think they when they release this on Blu-ray or I imagine they will have more of these deleted scenes placed in
awesome, man.
the movie,
Okay.
but as an extra.
hmm